Dear students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor P. Bhaskar Reddy, Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology, Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati. I am the coordinator for the paper Outlines of Indian History and also principal investigator of the subject Indian Culture. In the present module, you are going to learn about the history of the Mahajanapadas, rise of Magadha, Nanda dynasty, and the invasions of the Alexander. The learning objectives of the study are the sources for the study of the history, the 16 Mahajanapadas, rise of Magadha under the Haryanka and Sisunaga dynasties, achievements of Bimbisara and Ajatashatru, Nanda dynasty, the achievements of Mahapadmananda, Persian invasions, Alexander's invasion of India. The prime aim of the paper is to study the political history of India starting from 6th century BCE to up to the rise of Mauryan Empire. In this period, several interesting political developments took place in North India and Northwestern India. That things we can discuss in the present module with this aim. Various source materials are available to study the history of India for the above period, particularly Buddhist and Jaina works like Suttani Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, Suttanipata, Bhagavati Sutra, Parishishta Parvan, the Puranas, Greek and Latin narratives, archaeological materials. They are providing interesting information about the prevalence of various Janapada states and also the invasions of the Persians and Greeks in that particular period. Before going to discuss about the political developments, let us understand the political situation that prevailed in ancient India in 6th century BC. In the beginnings of the 6th century BC, there were many independent powers that ruled over northern India and northwestern India. Among that, some are monarchical form of governments and some are republican states. The monarchical rulers concentrated in the region of Gangetic Basin, whereas the republicans concentrated in the foot of the Himalaya hills and northern western India. Now, these rulers were known in the history of India as Janapadas or Mahajanapadas. Let us discuss about what is Janapada and which are the Janapada states that ruled over in the ancient period. Janapada literally means the place where the people put their feet or lived. They were the permanent settlements of the agricultural communities of the later Vedic age in India. They were named after dominant Kshatriya clans ruled over that period. These territorial entities in the Buddhistic age came to be regarded as Mahajanapadas. According to the traditional literature, there were 16 large states existed and ruled over in the 6th century BC. They were known as Sodasa Mahajanapadas. Now, we can shift our discussion to know about the 16 Janapada states, where they were existed, their location, and the history of each Janapada and the historical importance of that Janapada. Earliest Janapada is Anga. Earliest reference to this Janapada is found in the Atharva Veda of Vedic literature. Anga comprised the modern districts of Bhagalpur and Munger in Bihar region. The Champa river formed the boundary between Anga in the east and Magadha in the west. Champa was its capital. The ancient name of Champa was Malini. The city of Champa it is said to be that was built by Mahagovinda. It is one of the 6 great cities of India during the time of Buddha. It was also a great center of trade and commerce. The king of Anga has a friendly relations with the another Janapada, Kausambi. Kasi was another Janapada. The kingdom of Kasi was the most powerful in the beginnings of 6th century BC. Its capital was Varanasi, bounded by the rivers Varuna and Asi on the north and south. That's why this Janapada became popular as Kasi. Kasi was famous from the ancient times for the cotton textiles and market for horses. It is said to be that Buddha delivered his first sermon in Sarnath near the city Varanasi. Kasi was conquered by Kosala sometime before the time of Buddha. Thus, Kasi became a part and parcel of the next Janapada. Kosala is another Janapada. The kingdom of Kosala corresponded to modern Audh region. It is one of the most powerful kingdoms in the beginnings of 6th century BCE. Kosala contained 3 great cities of ancient India, that is Ayodhya, Saketa and Sravasti. The kingdom of Kosala was divided into 2 parts, north and south, by the river Sarayu. Sravasti was the capital of Uttara Kosala. Kushavati was the capital of Dachina Kosala. Prasenajit, a contemporary of Buddha, made Kosala as a formidable kingdom, and it became very powerful kingdom in that beginning of 6th century BCE. Vajji, also known as Brijji, is another Janapada of the ancient time. The Vajji territory lay to the north of Ganga and extended up to the hills of Nepal. It was separated from Kosala and Malla by the river Gandak. The region is a confederacy of several groups consisted of 8 or 9 clans. Members of the confederacy were Vrijjis, Vaidehas, Lichavis and Jnatrikas. Vaishali was the capital of the Lichavis and headquarters of this confederacy. Vaidehas had their capital at Mithila, identified with ancient city Janakapura. Vajji flourished non-monarchical state in the time of Mahavira and also during the time of Gautama Buddha. The Lichavis attacked Magadha during the time of Bindusara's reign. There was a treaty and matrimonial alliances with the princess of Lichavi and also Bimbisara of Magadha. Mallas are another Janapada. They are mentioned in the Buddhist and Jaina works. It is a powerful tribe in eastern India. But there were many branches in this clan. 2 branches had their headquarters at Kushinara and Pava. It is said to be that Buddha died in the vicinity of Kushinara. Buddha's last rites were performed by the Malla Janapadas. That is the importance of the Mallas in the history of ancient India. Chedi was the another territory corresponding to the eastern part of modern Bundelkhand. Shuktimati was its capital. The important towns that were located in the Chedi territory are Sahajati and Tripuri. Shishupala, one of the legendary enemy of Krishna, belongs to this Chedi kingdom. Except these epic legends, nothing authentic to know about the further history of the Chedis. Vatsa, another Janapada, was situated on the banks of the river Yamuna. Kausambi or Kosam near Allahabad was its capital. It is very rich and powerful kingdom in those days. This Vatsa is famous for producing high quality of cotton fabrics. The important personalities who ruled over the Vatsa, Udayana was the most famous king of this kingdom. He was the contemporary of Buddha, Pradyota, Bimbisara and Ajatashatru. Number of interesting legends center around his rivalry with the kings of Pradyota, the other dynastic ruler. Kuru is another Janapada correspondent to present Delhi Meerut region. The famous Indraprastha near Delhi was its capital. During the time of Buddha, the Kuru country was ruled by a titular chieftain named Kauravya. The Kurus had matrimonial alliances with the Yadavas, the Bhojas and the Panchalas, the famous personalities of the ancient clans. The famous Pandavas and Kauravas are belong to the Kuru clan. That means they are the powerful in the history of ancient India. Panchala, another name of the Janapada, was the country located north and east of Delhi from the foot of Himalayas to the river Chambal. The Panchala territory divided into two parts, north and south, by the river Ganga. Northern Panchala had its capital at Ahitchetra. Southern Panchala had its capital at Kampila. Both were the famous historical places in ancient India. The famous city of Kanyakubja or Kanauj was also located in the same territory, which it became a famous for the historical aspects of coming centuries. It is said that Kurus and Panchalas struggled for several years for the possession of Uttara Panchala region. That shows about the conflict between Kurus and Panchalas. It is known in the historical tradition of ancient India. Macha, another Janapada, located in the Jaipur region of Rajasthan, extending into Alwar, Jaipur, Bharatpur regions. Viratanagar, the famous historical city of Mahabharata, named after its founder king Virata, it was the capital of the Machas. The Macha Janapada first appeared in the Rigveda. It shows about it has its ancient origin. Shatapada Brahmana mentions a Macha king named Dvasana Dvani Vatayana. Some of the edicts of the famous Mauryan king Ashoka have been found at Bairat. That shows it has here the importance of the Macha continued from Rigvedic time to Mauryan period. The Pandavas, it is said to be that, stayed in the court of Viratanagara during the time of their Ajñatavasa of 1 year. That is the importance of Macha territory in the Indian history. Surasena, the other Janapada, Madura was its capital. Buddhist tradition describes the king Avantiputra. He was the first among the chief disciples of Buddha who worked for the progress of Buddhism. In the Mahabharata and in the Puranas, the ruling family of Madura is given as Yadus. The Yadu or Yadava tribe was divided into Vitihotras and Shatavatas. The Shatavatas were subdivided into Andaka, Vrusni, Mahabhojas, Daivavriddhis, etc. The interesting is the epic hero Krishna belongs to the Vrishni clan. The Vrishnis of Madura are described as Sangha even in the Kautilya's Arthashastra of Mauryan period. Asmaka, another Janapada. It is a South Indian Janapada situated on the banks of river Godavari. Its capital was Potali or Potana, identified with Bodhan in Andhra Pradesh. The royal sage Asmaka is said to have founded the city of Bodhana, which it connects the traditional history of that city. River Godavari flowed in between two neighboring kingdoms, of the south, Asmaka and Mulaka. Mulaka had Pratisthana or Paitan as its capital. Later, it became an important center of political activities in Deccan during the Satavahana time. Asmaka and Mulaka are represented as two Andhra territories, but Mulaka not figured in the Janapada. Another important Janapada is Avanti. Avanti, it is one of the four great monarchies that ruled over India in the beginnings of the 6th century BC. The Avanti Janapada correspond to the Ujjain region together with a part of Narmada Valley from Mandata to Maheswara. This territory divided into north and south by the river Vetravati. Ujjain and Mahishamati are the capitals. It is located in very fertile agricultural tract controlling rich iron ore. Because of that, it was one of the wealthiest kingdom in the Janapada time. The king Pradyota, the contemporary of Buddha, was a powerful king. Pradyota has been described as Chandala in the Puranas. Most probably, this region was ruled over by the Republic tribes. Gandhara, the famous traditional city of the ancient tradition, comprised the modern districts of Peshawar and Rawalpindi in Pakistan and Kashmir Valley. It is one of the important Janapada in northwestern India, presently located in Pakistan. Takshashila or modern Taxila was its capital. It is known that the city was founded by a prince Taksha, hence it is named after that king. Panini, a native of Gandhara, refers to the city of Takshashila. It was a center of trade and ancient seat of learning in those days. The great luminaries and personalities like Uddalaka, Swetaketu and Kautilya were educated in this famous institute. King Pushkarin, the ruler of Gandhara, was a contemporary of the king Bimbisara, who ruled over the Magadha in the same period. He had a cordial relations with Magadha and waged a successful war against another Janapada, Avanti. Kamboja is another Janapada located in the Uttarapada and very close to Gandhara. The famous epic Mahabharata connects the Kambojas with a place called Rajapura or Rajouri. The Kambojas are represented as living under a monarchical system. Chandavarman and Sudakshana are the prominent kings mentioned in the Mahabharata. In the later times, this monarchy gave a place to Sangha form of government, so some political changes were occurred in the later course of time. So far, we discussed about 15 Janapada states who ruled over the beginnings of the 6th century BCE in North India and also northwestern India. The last but not the least is Magadha Janapada. Magadha was the most powerful and prosperous country in the beginnings of 6th century AD. It corresponds to the present Patna and Gaya districts of Bihar. Girivraja or Rajagruha was its capital. Gaya was the important place where Buddha enlightens in that particular place. Magadha rulers Bimbisara and Ajatashatru in the later course of time became very famous, and they are the followers of Buddha. In the Ramayana, this Magadha is also known as Vasumati. Thus, Magadha, which was a part of Janapada. In the coming centuries, it became one of the powerful empire in the middle of 5th century BCE. So far we discussed about 16 Janapadas and their political importance, their location, the rulers, and its traditional importance. In the beginnings of the 6th century BC, all the Janapadas held their power. In the later course of time, all the Janapadas did not play same role. Because of the rise of Magadha, several Janapadas lost their historical pigments. As a result, some of the Janapadas declined and the weak Janapadas were occupied by powerful monarchies. All the 16 Janapadas did not play the same role in the contemporary politics. In the 6th century BCE, only 4 states, Kasi, Kosala, Magadha, Vijayanagar Confederacy remained important. Among these, there was a bitter struggle between the republic and monarchical states. The Gangetic Basin became an ample of discord. In this struggle, Magadha rulers successfully suppressed the other states by using their power, arms, and diplomacy. Thus, Magadhan kingdom was converted as Magadhan Empire in the middle of 5th century BCE. So that we can turn our discussion, who are the important rulers of Magadha, how they emerged as powerful political recon, we can discuss now. The first rulers who started an imperialistic ambition in ancient India by suppressing the Janapadas are Haryanka dynasty. Bimbisara and Ajatasattu were the founders of this Magadha empire. Particularly, the accession of Bimbisara began the rise of a new dynasty. He ascended the throne at the age of 15. He used arms and made several innovations and also followed a diplomatic policy to expand the Magadha power in that period. In the initial stages, he conquered Anga and maintained matrimonial alliances with the leading monarchs of the other Janapadas. He maintained friendly relationship with Pradyota, the king of Avanti. It is said to be that Bimbisara was a devotee of both Buddhism and Jainism. So far we discussed about Bimbisara as a founder of the Magadhan Empire, how he made it as a powerful empire due to his achievements, innovations, and diplomatic policies. Similarly, his successor Ajatasattu also contributed for further growth of the Magadhan Empire. Ajatasattu, it is said to be that he was an ambitious king. To capture the power, he imprisoned his father Bimbisara and also killed. Regarding his achievements, he waged a war with Prasenajit of Kosala and annexed Kosala into the Magadha Empire. He also opposed the tribal confederacy of Vijis headed by Lichavis of Vaishali. Thus, he succeeded in subduing the confederacy of 16 kingdoms under the headship of Vaishali. Historically, he has a great name. He built Patalinagara or Pataliputra in the vicinity of Ganges. You know, in the history of India, Pataliputra emerged as an important political center from the time of Mauryas and continued 600 years of its glory. Ajatasattu, it is said to be that, interviewed Lord Buddha and confessed killing his father when he became a king. The meeting with Buddha is indicated in the sculptures of Bharhut. During his time, 3 great teachers entered Nirvana. They are Buddha, Mahavira, Gosala, Maskariputra. Ajatashatru died in the year 461 BCE and succeeded by his son Udayan. 5 successors of Ajatashatru ascended the throne after killing their fathers. The history of Magadha after Udayan is confused. So far we discussed about the emergence of Magadha as a political center with the achievements of Bimbisara and Ajatashatru. And after Udayan, the rulers lost their importance and Haryanka dynasty came to an end. After Haryankas, the Shishunagas or the another rulers who ruled over the Magadha Empire as a successors of Haryankas. Now we can shift our discussion who are Shishunagas and their historical importance. Haryankas were succeeded by the Shishunagas. The genealogy and chronology of the Shishunagas are not clear, but we have the king name Shishunaga. The achievements of Shishunaga was the destruction of the power of Pradyota of Avanti Janapada. Thus, Shishunagas also expanded their territorial limits over suppressing the Janapada states. After Shishunaga, the mighty empire began to collapse. One of the king of this family, by name Kala Asoka, during his time, he transferred his royal residence from Girivaja to Pataliputra. Thus, Pataliputra became center of political affairs in northern India. Regarding the contribution of Kala Asoka, he was the responsible king who held the second Buddhistic council at Vaishali, and after that Shishunaga dynasty ruled for a half century, but we don't have much details about the further rulers. After the declining of Shishunaga dynasty, another powerful dynasty that emerged as a political reckoner is the Nanda dynasty. The Shishunaga dynasty was overthrown by the great Mahapadmananda. He was the powerful ruler of the Nanda dynasty. He not only established the dynasty and also uprooted all the Kshatriya dynasties in northern India, and as a result, he assumed the title Ekarath. He was the first king in the history of India who extended his territories in all over Indian subcontinent. The politics mention him as Ugrasena. During his time, the Kalinga and Deccan, located in southern India, also formed part of the Magadhan Empire. He occupied most of the Gangetic basin and built a mighty army and empire. In the history, he is considered as a great empire builder and ruled 10 years. After the death of Mahapadmananda, he was succeeded by 8 sons who ruled successively. The last Nanda ruler was Dhanananda. This Dhanananda was also a powerful ruler and possessed a strong army and enormous wealth. The oppressive way of tax collection by the king was resented by the people of the day. Taking advantage of that situation, Chandragupta Maurya and Kautilya initiated popular movement against the Nandas. About the same time, the Alexander of Macedonian Empire, he invaded India. So far, we made our discussion on the political history of India, starting from 6th century BC, the Janapada states, their political importance, rise of Magadha under the leadership of Haryanka dynasty, Shishunaga dynasty, and Nanda dynasty. When they are holding their power in various parts of India, in the same time, several foreigners, Persians and Greeks invaded and they occupied certain portions in north and northwestern India. So, we turn our attention who are the Persians, when they came, how they came, and how they expanded their territorial limits into Indian subcontinent, that we can discuss now. The Persian kingdom of Achaemenids was founded by Cyrus in the year 558 AD and he ruled up to 530 BCE. They were the first foreign conquerors and penetrated well into India. All Indian tribes to the west of the Indus up to Kabul region submitted and paid to him tribute. It is said to be that he destroyed the city of Kapisa located north of Kabul. Later, the Darius I, the grandson of Cyrus, also conquered the Indus Valley in 518 BCE. Herodotus states that India, that is the Indus Valley, was the 20th satrapy or province during the time of Darius I. It is said that Darius I sent a naval expedition under Skylark to explore the Indus. Sindh and a portion of Punjab formed part of his Indian conquest. See the statue of Cyrus the Great and the extension of the Persian invasions and relief of Darius I in the Persepolis. The Indian provinces continued under Jargas, who ruled in between 486 to 465 BCE. During his time, he obtained the military services of Indian contingent to fight his battles in Greece. But the Persian Empire declined in their territories after Jargas. However, the Gandhara region of northwestern India continued as a part of Persian Empire under another ruler, Antra-Jargas II, who ruled in between 405 to 359 BCE. The other Persian ruler, Darius III, enlisted the Indian soldiers and he made a strong resistance to the Alexander invasion. During the Persian invasions and their inroads into India, it provided an impetus to the growth of Indo-Iranian commerce. They introduced the Kharoshthi script, the official script of the Persian Empire, which it was also used by Mauryan Emperor Ashoka in his edicts in the northwestern Indian subcontinent. The Achaemenid ascendancy in India ended with the conquest by Alexander around 330 BCE. So far, we discussed about the Persian invasions and their occupation of the Indian territories, particularly in the region of Indus and northwest India. After Persians, the Greeks followed similar invasions, particularly Alexander is the one who made an extensive campaigns during his tenure. The Greeks were the second invaders of India. Alexander ascended the throne of Macedonia in 334 BCE. He defeated the last Persian emperor, Darius III, and established his own empire. After that, he conquered the whole of Persia, stretching from Asia Minor to Afghanistan. He crossed the Hindu Kush mountains in eastern Afghanistan in the year 327 BCE. He fought against various tribes of northwestern India who were the rulers for more than a year. Ambi, the king of Taxila, accepted Alexander's suzerainty. Porus, another king, was defeated and captured in the Battle of Hydaspes. Impressed by the courage and heroism of this Indian prince Porus, he reinstated and made him as Ali with the same powers. He determined to go further, but his soldiers refused to obey. As a result, he decided to return to his own territories. During his time, he made administrative arrangements to look after the newly conquered territories in India. However, on the way back, there were military encounters with the Ganas where Alexander faced some troubles. He is seriously wounded in the battle with Agalasai and Malwa, and with that wounds, he died in the year 323 BCE at Babylon. See the statues of Alexander and also the battles of Hydaspes. So far, we discussed about the Alexander and establishment of Achaemenid Empire and his invasions, how he conquered the Indian territories during his invasion, and he was a great conqueror and administrator who successfully led his campaigns in successive way. Now, what was the effects of the Alexander invasion in the Indian political scenario? That is essential to analyze. Due to invasions of Persians and also later Greeks, Europe came into close contact with ancient India. The Indian campaign of Alexander was a triumphant success. It encouraged the political unification of northern India. The system of small independent states came to an end, and they established a direct contact between India and Greece in different fields. It also increased the existing facilities for trade between India and West Asia. Thus, the campaigns and landmarks of Alexander invasion resulted for the political unification of India and also economic prosperity. Dear students, in this module, we discussed several political developments that took place from 6th century BCE to beginning of Mauryan Empire. For more details, you go through the e-text, self-assessment and further source materials. Thank you for your patience listening.